Hello, guys, and welcome to another podcast. This time it's podcast 12, and I have with me Lazule, like always.
Hello, hello.
And you know what? When it comes to this podcast, I feel like we're gonna start off the podcast with just answering comments from the previous podcast. So the comment on the previous podcast was by Zookatoon, and it was, "Have you played any Pokemon hacks?" And well, yes, I played a few of them, and the ones I can remember was Blaze, like pretty much every Drayano Pokemon hack, which is Blaze Black or Volt White, I think. Both the first one and the second one. I played Renegade Platinum. I played Rutile Ruby and Omega. Okay, there's something called Omega Ruby, something like that. And oh god, I played so many that it's like hard to keep count of.
I
Uh,
remember that you played Pokemon Atom, something like that.
oh yeah, Uranium as well.
Uranium, that one, yeah.
That one was very interesting. I actually really liked it. Due to the
Uh,
fact that it was completely new Pokemon. They had new typing. It was interesting. I actually really liked how they did gyms. Because in that game, gym leaders did not just focus on one Pokemon type. They
mhm.
focused on a theme, for example. Like example, one gym leader had like city theme. So they would use Pokemon that had like city themes to them. So they had
Mhm.
like dog and cat Pokemon, rat Pokemon.
Things
And
that you see in an urban environment,
yeah,
like kinda stuff that
yeah.
makes sense, right?
And then so it wasn't just so it was like it could be that one Pokemon was a normal type, one was dark type, one was flying poison.
Yeah.
So I really like that. I think that is something if Pokemon wanted to spice up gym leaders, do something like that, where gym leaders are not just fire type gym leader. No, there are like specific theme, like beach theme, because
Yeah,
yeah,
because it's also so easy to counter them when you know that they are only one typing and that's it.
yeah. So
And,
if
and you know which type they are going to be as well because you fight the trainers, right? Like before the boss, the boss of
yeah,
the gym and shit. And it's so fucking easy, you know. But they kind of make the games for like kids and shit.
yeah,
Maybe they should make more Coliseum games, I guess, to keep it spicy.
yeah,
Because Coliseum was kind of like that. It mixed it up the teams and whatnot, and the strats that they use as well.
yes,
Um, what else? Yeah, Pokemon Uranium was that game where you called your Pokemon Trump and all that. We already mentioned that in one of the previous podcasts.
yeah,
Uh, Also, what else? I recommend to you, Andreas. There is another ROM hack that people say that it is really good, which is called Pokemon Metal.
all right.
So
I'll,
you know,
I'll
maybe
check
you
it
want to
out.
look into that.
Yeah,
If Pokemon Arceus sucks, go for that, I guess. But I will suggest that you try Pokemon Arceus at least a little bit because your channel is mainly about gaming and your life, but within that gaming, your main topic is Pokemon. I think it is like your main focus. I feel like and it makes sense
yeah,
because you know
yeah. I
a
think
lot
yeah,
about Pokemon.
maybe I've done like 3 Let's Plays of Pokemon. I think that franchise is probably the one I've done the most Let's Plays of.
Yeah, now yes. It used to be I don't know Dark Souls, right? But yeah.
Yeah, no, actually, I think it's equal to Dark Souls. I think I've both done
Mhm.
3 Dark Souls and 3 Pokemon. So
Anyway, let's talk about this fucking video game that I had a beef with,
yeah,
which is a Total War Shogun 2, which you said that you liked.
yeah. I play it with mods. However, I don't know if you played it.
Okay, okay. No, hell no. I played vanilla, and I only had the first the vanilla game. I didn't have any of the DLCs,
Ah, okay, yeah, because
anything like that.
uh, I think it's called Fall of the Samurai, that DLC, that it's a
Yeah.
standalone DLC. It is so good.
It looks so
Because
interesting, yeah. It
yeah,
looks super
because
fucking interesting, but I didn't have it.
it's the samurai as they got into the gunpowder era.
And no, it's actually the final one because the fall of the samurai is when they are fighting the Japanese Imperials.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
the
it's the Sengoku
with
Jidai,
rifles.
whatever it was called. Sengoku.
Yeah, like in Runari Kenshin, like in Samurai X and shit. That they are fighting, the last ones and shit, the last samurais, right? What I was playing was they had gunpowder in that one as well, because the Japanese have had gunpowder since the 15th century, something somewhere
Oh
around there,
yes,
because
but it
because
wasn't.
of
It wasn't the main point. Main battle
no.
line.
No, it wasn't. No, of course not. But it was because of the Portuguese and all that, and that happens in the game. If you
Yeah,
convert to Christianity in Shogun 2 in the vanilla, you get the Portuguese, and the Portuguese sell you guns, and you can make gunpowder units and cannons and super,
yeah.
uh,
Super ships, trade ships.
yeah, yeah, trade chips and the fucking the good shit, and all that crap. You can make like vessels and whatnot.
Yeah, it was
But
actually
anyway.
that what you just said is one of the reasons why my favorite clan was the Otomo clan, because that clan starts off as Christian,
Oh yeah. Yeah, the
and
blue ones, right?
yeah, I think it was like blue and white.
They are the best navy units, yeah. The Ottoman one, because it's Christian, exactly because of that. There is another clan that claims to be the best navy in the game, but it is not because the best
Yeah,
navy is it's with the Ottoman, It's
yeah,
with the Christians.
because they have guns,
Yeah,
like
exactly. Because they have cannons in their chips and all that. Anyway, so I think that Total War sucks. It feels like a really fucking cheaty Mountain Blade. Do you know what I mean? Like a Mountain Blade mugs that fucking game the fuck out. I feel like because in Mountain I played that fucking game for 5 hours, by the way. It's just like a fine fucking like a civilization game kind of, where you're fucking walking in a fucking board. It's like a board game without too much lore to it actually. There is like encyclopedia entries and all that, which can be kind of entertaining, but I can look those online. You know what I mean? I don't have to unload that whole game and run it, just to read that shit. And it is not as immersive because I'm looking at the world, from outside constantly. In Mountain Blade, you get to go inside the fucking towns. You go to fight in the battles. You get to fucking command the units and all that shit. And here you just send them. You just send them, and that's it. And I had really fucking good units, mind you, by the way, because I was playing as the Oda clan, okay, which everyone recommends and shit. And all that I had to do was make a fucking Yari Achigaru, right? Like the
yeah,
spearman. Yari Achigaru is the most fucking OP unit in that game, because you can spam them. They are super fucking cheap
yeah, and you
and
just put them
and
in a spear wall, and
and yeah, and let the cavalry of the enemy rush you and you fuck them up and shit. That being said, I lost a lot on my first playthrough because I had bad luck. I had to fight another clan leader at the start. I had bad RNG, I guess. Like random number generation and whatever. And a fucking super general came into my fucking area, and he invaded and shit, and he attacked me, and I was there with all my units and shit, and I lost that fucking war because I don't like that in that game. The CPU, I think that they can, right? I don't know if you can do it yourself, but the CPU stalls you. They just stay there, okay? If they have a really advantageous position, right? Like a fucking like a
yeah,
hill,
yeah, they will stay. Yeah,
they will stay there, and with woods and shit to hide their units and whatnot. They will stay in there, and you have to fucking go at them, but you cannot make them come at you in any way. You can try with your archers, but they also have archers,
yeah.
and they and
One
also
way,
they
one way is to actually have cannons, even if you have just a basic shit wooden cannon.
well, but I was just starting the game though.
Yeah, but I like, I think that's a good thing in my mind, because that's like, okay, they are they're using the environment to their advantage. So you have to try and figure out, okay, what do I need to do, and then you will lose some fights, So it's kind of like, okay, maybe I should have split up my troops, put, some troops in the castle, and maybe put like some of my troops pretty close to their, when you're on the main map. You don't really engage them, but you put your troops in a way so that they will run and try and attack you, and then you retreat, and then they don't have enough movement points to get away. And then you combine your troops and just smash them.
But like, what's the point if I didn't if I didn't found the gameplay fun? Okay, it's just like a make
Then there
your
is no
you
point. I mean, if you did not find the gameplay
the gameplay is just
enjoyable, then there is no point.
the gameplay is just walk your unit towards the unit of the enemy and have the fucking either the superior number of units or the superior strategy, which usually Yari Achigeru, they can make the spear wall and fuck almost everything up, except sometimes archers, or a more fucking massive unit size than them. And that's it. That was happening to me early game. I didn't enjoy it because of that. That was one of the biggest reasons, and because I came from Mountain Blade, right? And in Mountain Blade, you get to do that. I know that the strategy doesn't matter as much in Mountain Blade. You can just F1, F3, you issue an order to all your units and then charge, and that usually does
Yeah.
the fucking job. That usually
And the
is the
fact
best fucking
that you
strat.
as the player character can kill like 100
Yeah,
enemy
yeah,
units.
you can kill like 50 and shit if you're really good. You can go horse archer and get headshots and shit, and it's very safe. But yeah, like I prefer Mountain Blade because you feel more engaged with the game. As a commander fighting in the fight and all that. And here you don't get to do that. It's just like you go into a stance, and that's at most that you can do. You can use Inspire. You can use a few stances. You can have a more loose form and whatever the fuck and all that shit. And
It
it
is a
is not
more
much.
of a simulation game, yes. And
No, and also the animations are not as good, in the game, like in the live battle. The sprites look like outdated and all that.
yeah,
I didn't feel like that it looked amazing to be worth all the gigabytes that I'm using up by installing that game.
yeah, but isn't the game like almost 20 years old? So
Well, I don't know. I didn't knew about that, but I got it for free anyway, so I left a really bad review in Steam. No, and that's it.
oh no,
I
it
probably
isn't. It's 11 years old. Okay.
okay, okay, it's not that old, I guess, but for the time, yeah, the graphics are decent, I guess. But I said like, in my Steam review, right? This game sucks. No wonder why it was free. Half of the time you don't even know what's happening. There are various strategy games out there that let you play as Japan. What I mean by this is like Civilization, for example, or something else. Anything with mods, for example. Mountain Blade 2 has a mod about Japan. I was expecting this game to be deeper than a lame board game, but it's like a board game with bad gameplay battles. Mountain Blade has totally decimated the Total War games where you barely participate in the fight, this meaning, the Total War games, you barely participate compared to Mountain Blade. All you do is walk units to the enemy and hope for the best. Not usually, right? You can have a strategy, obviously. I'm just
Yeah,
being,
because that tend to be what I do. I tend to like I'm not someone who likes to spam just one unit. When I play, I would never just have a bunch of Yara Ashigaru, put them in shield wall with archers. Maybe that is the optimal, but I don't play optimal. Like I have some horses, some Yari, some actual samurai with katanas, and then I like micromanaging my units and macro and micromanaging them, doing all that, baiting certain things. And I also name my units. That's something I do. Like I give them names.
it's very fucking difficult to bait, though, in that game because I tried. Versus the Lord that I was fucking fighting, that though was strong as fuck, by the way. He started super fucking good. I didn't know what the fuck to do. He didn't came off that fucking hill. I had to fucking pressure him in some fucking way. I don't know how. The game wanted me to do something very specific that I didn't know how to do, so I got fucking bored. And I was like, no, I'm not fucking tolerating this fucking loading times and shit. And this fucking bitch, the your advisor, right, in the game, she is so fucking annoying the first time that you play. She's giving you so much fucking information that you won't fucking understand and shit. And I was like, no, fuck this shit, dude. And I fucking uninstalled that game.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not for everyone.
Also, I felt like the graphics were not that good. The music was not that good. It has one track. I listened. I gave a shot to the soundtrack in YouTube and shit, and I listened to all of it. And I only liked, like in good faith, I only liked one track, the one that has lyrics, because I think that it is kind of deep on its meaning and all that. So yeah, like yeah, I did not like it.
Then you
I'm
would
going to
absolutely not like Attila. Total War Attila. I really like it, but judging by what you said, you're not gonna like it because because in that game it's all about the empire falling, and you're constantly under attack, and you will lose towns, units. It's horrific. You get plagues all the time. Your units starve. I like that stuff. Like
maybe my problem is that I like to win. When I know that it's possible to win, I always try to win, and I always save as calm and shit. You know, I always load saves again and shit, and try to win that fight and try to win that fight over and over and over again.
maybe that's why. I think
Because
maybe my mentality when it comes to video games is kind of like what Total War is for. The mentality of that is what happened, you know? That loss happened, or
and
that,
that's it.
yeah.
And you cannot save a scum yourself out of it and shit. Even though there is a quick save feature and shit.
Yeah, but I don't use it.
Yeah.
I mean,
you have to you can accept your losses, but I have more the competitive mentality that if I know that I can win, I try to win, right, at any fucking cost over and over again. So yeah, that's a fucking problem. I think more like kind of more like Dark Souls. It kind of made me think more that way in Smash Bros. Melee. Playing that shit competitively. But yeah, I also I'm going to give a shot to another Total War game because I have it for free as well on Epic, which is a Total War. What is it called? Odyssey or something like that? No, it is a Greek one, but I forgot the name. Troy. Total War
okay.
Troy.
Yeah, I have not played that one.
That one has a mythology and shit, like mythic units and whatnot. I'm going to give a shot, to that one, and that's it. That will be my last one. If I don't get any other Total War game gifted to me, I'm not going to try them. I don't care. But yeah, for the Total War Shogun game, I was expecting more Japanese aesthetic. You know what I mean? Like I know that it's fill it to the brim with that, but I was expecting it more on a macro level. Okay, on a micro level. Like going inside towns and looking at the country from the inside.
You wanted a more
yeah, like more like Mountain
first
Blade.
person view versus
Yeah, exactly. And I know that it has good it has cutscenes and all that, but I didn't like it enough. I like it something like when you go to a Roman Byzantine town in Mountain Blade, just like that you get to see all the palace and all the city folk and all that stuff.
I mean,
so
that
yeah.
is understandable. It just isn't what Total War is.
And right now I'm actually craving a lot of a Japanese cultural game, because this thing didn't had enough of the aesthetics and the philosophy and the fucking haikus, Zen haikus of Buddhism and all that, Yeah, it didn't have enough for me. I would like a lot though if they made more games about Japan, but not that period. Okay, not the samurai period, because the samurai get focused a lot. Don't you think? There are periods previous to that one where the samurai didn't even had katanas and all that. The pre-samurai, right? In the Heian period, before the Heian period, and all those, they used the Japanese used straight swords. And they actually had shields as well, but that was only initially. They had like these square shields that they used rectangular shields and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like more older Japan, for a setting for a game, or like a pirate samurai game,
Yeah,
a game
like
about.
new settings, basically, not the same shit
Mhm.
all the time. It's like we said before when we talked about Elden Ring, that we wanted something new, but then they just gave us the basic bitch medieval Gothic
Fantasy,
Europe fantasy stuff,
yeah, I agree,
that is like
and that
super
is
overdone.
exactly super fucking overdone, dude. But yeah, for example, many Japanese people had a period of piracy as well. That many people don't know about because Japan is full of fucking islands and shit, right?
Yeah.
So they can make a game about that, pretty much. That you are sailing, like in Zelda Wind Waker or whatever. You are sailing and you see an island, you can conquer it. You can get off your boat and kill people or whatever the fuck. And that would be really fucking cool. Pirate games are always usually really good. So yeah, I'm going to pirate the Ghost of Mitsubishi when it comes out. That fucking game. Yeah.
Uh,
Or if it doesn't comes out in time, I'm going to pirate Sekiro. Finally, I'm
okay.
going to pirate that crap, and that's it.
I'm just gonna interject here. I
Yeah.
actually, for people who are watching the channel, the Let's Plays, the Pokemon Let's Play that I recorded last year has finally all been released. And actually, today, I think, is it Friday? No, yes, tomorrow, the first part of Spec Ops The Line is going to come out, and that is a 5-part series. And the release schedule of that is going to be, Friday, Wednesday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. That is kind of like when I plan on releasing Let's Plays. But I have finished that Let's Play. Then the next Let's Play after that is Vampyr, which I've also already finished. And then after that is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which I finished like 2 days ago. So the Let's Play thing, I am so far ahead.
Nice. Can you tell me what Vampire is about and all that? Because I don't know anything. I might
Yeah,
watch your Let's
Vampyr,
Play
Vampyr was
tomorrow.
very interesting in the fact that the way Vampyr was, it was a third-person RPG
Mm-hmm.
where you play as a vampire.
Yeah.
But you start off the game like your character had just been attacked by a vampire. Then
Mm-hmm.
you come back to life, and you're like, your character is a blood doctor, so
Um,
you know, and then he becomes a vampire, and then he kills his sister accidentally,
okay.
because his sister finds him, is like, oh, I'm so glad to see that you're alive, and then you just suck her blood and she dies. uh, and then the game is all about figuring out who made you a vampire and trying to kill
Yeah, for
whoever made
vengeance
you
and
a
shit.
vampire to avenge your sister.
Yo, but so why
And then
does
there is a
he
little bit of
he
a love
fucking
story,
yeah?
and you level up skills. You have, vampire magics. It's a fighting game basically, and then you
Is it
have
third person or
it.
freaking
It's third person fighting,
okay.
kind of like Dark Souls.
Yeah, okay. I understand now.
Uh,
I want to watch that Let's Play probably tomorrow. Um, why does he kill his sister though? Because he cannot control himself and shit.
Yeah,
Because he's like
yeah,
super
he
hungry.
can't
Okay.
control himself, and then he bites her, and then after he's already sucked her blood and gotten that nutrient, that's when he notices, like, wait, what happened? What did I do? You
Mm.
know, and it is set during the Spanish flu,
I don't remember that period. Like I
The
don't
First
remember.
World War,
Okay, that's
in
why.
London. The First World War is happening. The Spanish flu is ravaging London, and then you figure out that the
Mhm.
strain that is happening in London isn't actually the Spanish flu. It's like a vampire flu. Uh,
How convenient.
that is and there is like uh, what's called English mythology happening, with like ancient vampires from the night days, and there is like vampire society, kind of like how it's kind of like, oh, is the royalty actually vampires?
Oh, that's really interesting, actually. They are
And
fucking bloodsuckers, but for the fucking British people's money, the royals in the UK.
yeah,
They don't do anything other than fucking get taxes from them.
yeah. But I will say the game ends pretty badly. I would say the last like chapter or whatever gets
Okay.
like the game starts off interesting. I would say the middle part is really good, and then the end is probably the weakest.
I seen the main character. It's a guy with a beard. He has a
Yeah,
beard, and he dresses black, edgy, and he has like a slick back haircut, right?
yeah.
Something like that. I
And
remember very vaguely.
you also have to have a little bit of you have to like remove your brain a bit, because you're wondering kind of like, how can people tell that you're a vampire? Because later on in the games your character looks like like horrifically like destroyed. Like, how can not anyone tell that you're a fucking vampire? you know but you have to kind of like ignore those parts.
Hmm. Yeah, because you are progressing through the fucking vampirism pretty much, and he's becoming more and more and more fucked up and all that. Did you like the Star Wars Fallen Order? That one?
um, yes. I think that game a bit like Vampire in the fact that but I think the beginning of the game I really did not like.
Why? Because it's puzzles, or what
No,
is
no,
it?
no. I actually like the
Because you start
puzzles.
super weak, or
Yeah, that's the thing. Your character, like, you're a Jedi, but you cannot even pull things or do anything,
mm,
It's uh, like, come on. Like, you are a fucking Jedi. At least let us have some basic force powers, like.
it's also a game about movement, and you started with very fucking limited movement options, right? That's probably
Yes.
the main problem.
Yeah, that's the thing. Back in the beginning, you can't even do a strong attack.
That's so fucking stupid, yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is that to be able to do a strong attack, when you are able to do it, you need to use your force. So using a strong attack takes up your force meter, which is where you also use your force powers.
Gotcha.
So it isn't until the middle of the game where you have started unlocking more force and unlocked more things to do rather than just the basic attack. Like, okay, now I can dodge and attack, or I can do a jump attack, or I can do a strong into a weak attack. So
That
I would,
reminds me about Mega Man Zero, for the Game Boy Advance. That you start like super weak, only with one attack, and then you have to grind yourself up to have a complete moveset, pretty much, which is very lame, honestly.
yes,
I don't like games like that. Just give me like don't give me the whole moveset, obviously, right? Because I'm going to that breaks the game very fucking easily.
yeah, and also
But
you want to learn some things.
yeah, but give the players options, right, to experiment and all that,
Yes,
and to be able to be good, from the start.
yeah, like give me more
Uh,
than one option. Like,
how far are you into it, by the way?
actually I finished the game 2 days ago.
Oh, already? Okay.
Yeah, it
And
it,
it, and it,
it is
and it
16
was
parts.
and it was really nice, I guess.
The middle part I really enjoyed. The ending was
It
kind of
wasn't.
good. It wasn't as good
Okay.
as the middle, and the beginning was super super boring to the point where I almost stopped playing.
Almost gave up. Yeah. So
Yeah,
out of those two games, Vampire
I
and
would
Jedi
probably
Fallen
recommend
Order,
Vampire
really nice.
out of those two.
I get that impression as well. And Spec Ops The Line will be the one that is at last, right? Because of the gameplay, it's kind of more outdated than those other two, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean it's a different end game. If you want a third-person cover shooter, I would recommend Spec Ops: The Line. You can get like 3 to 5 hours of enjoyment of that game.
Yeah, the good thing about that game is that it is really short, and I like the message a lot. But yeah, like, did you got gifted, by the way, the Jedi game and and Vampire for free, or did you buy
Yes,
them?
yes.
Ah,
I
okay.
got them from Amazon Prime.
Yo, that's a super nice catch then, because those games are newer.
So actually this year, like, I actually played a decent amount of games this year. Like, it's also that I finished. Because I always do a list of like games I've played.
Yeah.
And so far I've played 5 games. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So I've finished the Tomb Raider saga. I actually really like that game. That is probably the best game I played this year, which was the first game as well. Bomb Slinger, Spec Ops The Line, Vampire, and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
What else? What any other topic before Spec Ops that you got? Like,
Um,
what about your painting motivation, for example?
yeah, I have not painted this year, and I don't remember when I painted last year as well. It has been like very, very hard for me to actually get the motivation to paint, to give it like, because I'm like, oh god, when I pick up the brush, I lose all motivation and then I do something else.
It's like me with recording, dude. I never want to record it. It's because I imagine like editing and shit, and I'm like, oh my god, dude, you have to edit a lot of bullshit, dude. And I already have like clips and shit, but I want to finish my fucking job, dude. Uh,
So that's pretty
but
much
yeah, like,
how that is. It's the same thing with the weight loss when it comes to motive. Well, the weight loss one is mostly just me binge eating sometimes. Like, because I did really well. I went down like 3 kilos and then I fucked it all up by just binge eating because I was in a lot of pain or whatever. And a way that I deal with that is just eating.
to actually lose weight fast, you kind of have to starve yourself, and that is the fucking problem. You need to have a lot of fucking willpower.
Which I don't have.
Yeah, and so it's going to be hard. It's going to be a very fucking slow process then, in all honesty.
And
Very, very, very likely.
yeah, and well, my doctor actually, like, fat liver thing. I might have that, and that is actually not from my obesity. So strangely
What
enough,
is what is a fat liver?
is that your liver has accumulated fat.
Oh, okay.
And he said that is something that's very, very common in people with ME. Even, like people who are super skinny, they have a fat liver. And the fat liver, it's something that's common in people with ME and people who are alcoholism. Oh, God.
Yeah, that have alcoholism and shit.
Yeah, both.
But yeah, I don't think that you are that fat. I probably seen a lot of more obese people,
Well, I mean,
in
you
my
live in
life, but
America. You live in America.
yeah, exactly.
But I actually am. I mean,
In
I'm a.
both countries, by the way, in both countries, in the U.S. and in Mexico, we have the fattest fucking people in the world.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah, I seen some pigs. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, I am. I mean, the thing is that I could easily. I mean, for me to get into what I would consider like healthy range, I would lose 20 kilos, and that is 1/5 of my weight. If you can lose 1/5 of your weight, you're fucking fat. If you could just remove 20% of your weight, and that is how you get to the healthy range, and that's just the beginning of the healthy range. I mean, I want to be able. I am 181 centimeters. Well, I was 181 when I was 15. I haven't actually measured how tall I am since then.
Probably point something more, and that's it.
I would say probably less. In my
Why? No, it wouldn't be less. You don't lose height, by getting fat. It's impossible.
no, not because I'm fat, but because I sit down. My back is so crooked now.
Maybe the back can affect you, but if you straighten up, by putting your back to a wall, it's going to show your real height anyway. It's genetical. Dude. Height is genetical mostly, and nutrition and all that shit. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. So I would like to. Well, my first goal is to go down to 80 kilos, and then when I'm at 80, I want to see if I want to lose 5 more to 75 or if I want to gain more to 85. But I think
Just get to healthy range. Get to healthy range and try to maintain yourself there. If you cannot maintain yourself there, then bad news for you, dude, because maybe you are meant to be fat. You know what I mean? Like you are struggling way too much, or you have to do something else.
yeah,
You have to get used to eating less. At that point, and that means starting with some starvation. And then getting used to have your stomach less filled through the days until you get used to it, and it no longer hurts or gives you headaches and all that.
yeah. But I mean,
It's slightly it's
I
slightly
don't eat
less though.
that.
You don't exaggerate, right? Don't
Yeah, yeah,
exaggerate with
yeah.
that
But
shit.
I don't eat that much. I mean, the problem is that I don't move around much or, stuff like that. Since I only eat between 12 and 8.
It's
So
mostly metabolism, dude. It's mostly metabolism. You
yeah,
don't have to move a lot, really.
I have an
It's, it's
8-hour eating window. And then
yeah,
for 16 hours, I don't eat.
yeah.
And that's just how it works for me. Because I cannot eat in certain times. Like, it's just impossible for me to do that.
It's more a genetical thing and about willpower, really, and getting used to that because eventually the body gets used to less or more intake.
Yeah.
Like people that how do you call that shit when they um when they put some shit in their stomachs, right?
Yeah.
To not let so much food pass through. They get used to feeling fuller, like more full, with by eating less, pretty much. The guy from the actor from Drake and Josh did that supposedly, something like that. I remember.
I don't
So
know.
yeah,
I mean, I know what the problem is for me. It's when I get my binge eating, when I do binge eat. That's the problem. So that's something I need to work on. So I know what the problem is. It's just
then it's only
having,
willpower then.
yeah, having the power to break the cycle.
Or you know what you can do as well, instead of eating, sleep. Sleep more than you eat. That is another way to do it, but you're going to mess up your schedule even more
I
if you
mean,
do that.
yeah, I already sleep between 16 to 18 hours a day.
Because that is the thing. When you're sleeping, you are not eating. At least, right? So that can be a way, I guess. But I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or entertaining yourself, really. Like this conversation, you're not eating right now, right? So that is
No.
another way. That is another way. You need to entertain yourself. You need to not get bored, and by watching something boring is when you are going to crave something because you have your hands free and shit. So you're watching something, you're going to be,
Yeah.
chipping away.
And I mean, I'm
Um,
also talking to my doctors about this. So we'll see how things go. Um, I mean, I would want to be, 85 by the time I'm 30. So that's the goal I have for myself. I should be able to lose 20 kilos
that
in
seems
5
reasonable. Yeah,
years.
yeah, that seems very likely. That's a good goal.
Yeah,
Um,
but thing that I plan
uh-huh.
on doing next, because I've had people ask me to do horror games.
Oh, finally, yeah. I
Yeah.
love horror games. I will love to watch you react. If you can come up when playing as well,
Yeah,
it
I
will
think that is
be
what I would do.
even
I
better.
would have like a
Well,
camera up in a corner, maybe. I don't know.
or not, because we can hear your voice, how you get scared and all that as well.
I mean, I'll try different things. Like in March, I think that, well, whenever the Jedi Fallen Order Let's Play is finished airing,
You know
But
which games which horror games I will recommend to you? They are scary as fuck, by the way. The Amnesia series, Amnesia, that one.
mm,
Uh, one is the best one. Two is very fucking boring and linear, and three is interesting, I guess.
okay, I'm gonna see
Uh,
if I have those because what I
because
was planning on
they
doing.
gave them for free, by the way, at one time in Steam.
Because what I have planned on doing is that I'm gonna look at the games that I have. Because the thing is that I know that, well, first of all, the Amazon Prime games like this, probably, I know there are some horror
Horror
games
games,
here.
very likely, yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna do. And what my plan is to do a bunch of first looks. And then if there is like a horror game, whilst I'm doing the first look of the horror games, if there is a game that I'm like, that seems interesting, I'll expand that into a let's play.
There is also this indie game called Darkwood. Darkwood, okay. That game is really fucking good. It's a top-down view, horror game and shit, survival. But the story is really good. The characters are really fucking good. The atmosphere, the sounds, especially, are really fucking scary. And the concept, because every time that it becomes night in the game, you have to go to your fucking base. There is an abandoned house that you can find around the fucking forest and shit, and you have to survive the night, because at night random fucking events happen and shit, and you have to survive that fucking scary fucking event and shit.
Yeah, the
You get invaded pretty much.
monsters come out.
No, yeah, but it gets so fucking intense. I'm not even fucking kidding, dude. Like it gets so fucking fucked up. And it's scary, because for example, you are at your fucking base and shit, trying to fucking make it through the night and shit, and out of nowhere you hear like knocking outside your door and shit, and you don't want to fucking open, right? And then you hear that somebody opens like and goes in and shit, and they start invading you and shit. It gets super fucking scary, dude. That game is so fucking immersive, dude. Extremely fucking immersive. Darkwood. I recommend it to you so much. And also, there's another. This is not exactly a horror game, but it has a lot of fucking horror vibe to it. It's called Pathologic 2. It looks super fucking interesting, the concept and shit. You are like in an epidemic, of a disease and
Yeah,
shit. There's like a virus going on, pretty much like these times, right?
yeah.
And it's super fucking difficult. It's one of the fucking hardest horror games that there are, because it's very difficult to survive with that virus going on and shit. And anyone in the town can get the fucking sickness and die from it and shit. Even the NPCs that you rely on. Okay, even the vendors that you
Yeah.
need to buy the medicines from and all that, they can die to that shit. And you need to solve a mystery, really fucking quickly before everyone in town dies and shit, including you.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
yeah,
I
but
probably am not going to. I mean, I'll look it up, but most likely not, since I just plan on playing the games that I have. So we're gonna
I'm
see
just
what I
I'm
have. I'm not sure, but I kind of want to get through my backlog. Just games that you get from time to time, and I know that there are some horrors here. I mean, for example, this is Less Than Observer. It says that it's a horror game. I don't know anything about it.
I don't know anything
Layers
about
of
it either.
Fear. So Fractured Minds. So I'm gonna be doing the first look videos on these horror games. And then if there is a horror game that I'm like, oh, I'm enjoying this, I'll do a let's play. But
Do you know what I like about video games much more than movies and shit? Actually, horror games become much more immersive in the gaming form. Do you know what I mean? Like it's easier to get immersed in the horror of a video game than one of a movie, a million fucking times. Yeah, I think that I'm not sure if video games are art, by the way, but
yeah, I
I will
think I think it's art. I mean,
I would argue that, yeah, that where the line actually goes into art very clearly is with horror. Okay, because you can read a horror novel, you can watch a horror movie, but it will never be as horrific as a video game. You get more into the character if you're playing as the character. That's the thing.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like, I've never really been someone who's been into horror genre, be it movies, games, whatever. Because I find it very hard to get scared if it's not just a jump scare. And the thing is, jump scares aren't really scary. It's just that it catches you off guard, like... And that's one
No,
thing.
it depends. It can be. It can be. I can give you an example. It's actually not a horror game, but it has horror scenarios in it. Subnautica. Maybe you should play the games one day. Um, you go underwater and there are these fucking leviathans and shit that fucking take you by surprise and whatnot. And they jump and scare you, but because of the fucking monster is so fucking big and shit, and you got very fucking little chances of survival, you're fucking scared anyway.
Yeah, but it's more
you
like
will remain
of a
scared.
surprise. Like, it's something, it's calm, and then all of a sudden a loud noise happens. Like, and obviously you get like the adrenaline rush that happens, but I would not call that scary.
Okay, that will be like Five Nights at Freddy. It will be that kind of horror. What you're mentioning.
But
that some fucking image pops out in your fucking screen and shit and shit.
Yeah, like I hate that. But that is the
can
only
be very fucking
thing
annoying.
that actually gives a reaction for me. I have a hard time truly getting scared and immersing myself since it isn't real.
Yeah, I kind of know what you mean.
But the thing is that only, for me, that is only in horror. Like, I can immerse myself in other things. But when it comes to horror, it's very hard for me. But I also... And that's probably why I haven't really played horror games. I'm gonna give it a shot.
The games that I mentioned are very fucking immersive. Within that type of horror that I'm telling you about. It's more psychological. It's psychological horror. Amnesia, the Amnesia series. Amnesia 2 fucking sucks. Amnesia for Pigs was really bad. And Darkwood. Those will be really good examples of psychological horror. And among other ones probably that I don't know about, but yeah. I actually should explore horror more, because that is a topic that I like a lot, in depth. To explore the philosophy of art in video games, you know what I mean? So this will be a really clear example for me, to make that they are art, because horror works super well with video games. It works better than in movies and
I mean, I also think
shit.
we have a bit different philosophy here, because I think all video games are art. I mean, even if it is just a video game where you press, like, if a 2 comes up, you press a 1. I would consider that's to me, like, art to me is such a general thing.
For me, something to be art to me must be aesthetic. First of all, it must have like an aesthetic to it. It must express like more so like this, like the emotions, the emotions of the author and shit, and there it happens, what they call the death of the author, and when you put your own emotions into it and all that thing.
I mean, would you consider Total War art?
It has artistic elements, to it, yeah. Shogun, yeah, definitely. It has like Japanese art in it, Japanese music and all that shit. But would I consider? Well, it's like halfway there. It's not good art, though. Yeah, I wouldn't call it like good art.
Yeah, but that's so subjective, obviously.
No,
That's
yeah,
why, to
obviously,
me,
yeah.
like, I consider everything art. Like, everything that has been created for entertainment or to express something could be considered art. I mean, even God, like,
here lies a problem. Here lies a problem, Andreas. For example, is football art? It's for entertainment. Is baseball art? It's a sport. It's just gameplay. It's just gameplay.
Yeah, I would consider it a art.
Dancing is an art, for example.
Yeah,
that is making an art out of motion. Right?
And I would say that football, sports, whatever, it's a art as well.
I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't. Not even martial arts actually, which is ironic, right? Because it has
Yeah,
arts
it
in
has
the name,
arts
right?
in the name,
But I wouldn't call it like it's a sport, you know. Well, when it's done for competition, it's for sport or for practical self-defense. I would say martial arts, uh, but I wouldn't call it art. You know, you can make there is art in martial arts though. There is, for example, a wushu, which is more performance, right? Or like kata in karate, where they just do the motions, right? The movements without fighting anybody, just to memorize, you know, the motions and all that.
well, I mean
Um,
that this could be an interesting topic for another podcast. I think. What is?
it will be super fucking long. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very nuanced. It's very fucking nuanced. But also another thing that I want to mention real quickly, because I was having this debate with a philosopher friend actually. Uh, I also found another way to put art into gameplay, right? Which is in a game that is called Host, something like Heroes of the Storm, which was a fucking League of Legends clone by Blizzard. They made a character with two heads, right? It's a Cyclops that has two heads and shit.
Yeah.
And the way to play that character is that it doesn't explain anything to you right away. You don't have to know any of his backstory or anything about him. But the gameplay of this character is that two players control the same character, the same body, because it's a fucking Cyclops with two heads, right? And I think that is a very fucking artistic way to design a character, because you are in gameplay expressing what this character is about, right? Do you see how clever that is?
Yeah, but also fucking. Did people like that? How would that work?
Two players are controlling it at the same time.
The
That's it.
same.
They need to have good communication, because if they don't have good communication, it's going to be a fucking clusterfuck of gameplay. You know, somebody's going to want to walk to the left, and you want to walk to the right and shit.
Yeah,
And
but wait. What I'm asking a bit. Is it still okay? Now I don't fucking remember League of Legends. Is it 5-on-5? Is it 6-on-6? Let's say it's
five versus five, and two players control one character, but that character is very strong. Okay,
okay.
that
So
Cyclops guy.
okay.
He's very strong. He makes up for two characters, but if the two players are not very well synchronized, the character does not work.
Obviously, he's awful.
Yeah, he's awful
Okay.
if the
That was
that
just
is
something.
the
That was something I would ask. Wait. So would it be like 7 against 6 then? No, it is still okay.
it is still the same thing. Anyway, so there is that. Yeah.
So yeah,
So
Spec Ops The Line. Um, it
so
was a good
okay.
game with something to say. Maybe you should talk a little bit about, because like you said, I don't remember what your comment was, but it was something about how the developers were trying to make it so that how the game is the fact that you just follow, the text or whatever, and that's kind of like the wrong
Yeah.
thing to do. In that, what you
It
should.
is. It is a subversive game. Okay, like what it's telling you is that you as a gamer, you're like a drone. You're pretty much like a soldier in war, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're giving fucking orders
and
by
you do it.
a fucking bright light and shit, and you go and do it, and that's it. And you don't question that shit. So I know that it's not real, right? It's a fucking video game, for fuck's sake. But in the game sense, like if it were real, it will be a fucking horrible thing that you're doing. You're killing all these fucking people that were just trying to fucking
Yeah.
not let more fucking people cause more bloodshed inside Dubai, right? Inside that area. And you go there, like a fucking chip and shit. You didn't have to do it. The orders for all the soldiers that were inside Dubai by then was to leave the fucking place.
Yeah, to
To leave
evacuate.
the fucking place alone. And the 32, the 33rd or whatever the fuck it's called, the squad of Conrad, right? Like the fucking
Yeah.
hero of Walker, of this guy. They stayed behind. They decided to disobey because they wanted to help the people that were still remaining in Dubai, because they knew that the sandstorm was coming, right? And the sandstorm blocked all fucking communication and all that shit, so they
Yeah.
cannot leave and whatnot.
And
So
and I also
they were
know.
there. They were there to put martial law into those people. Martial law, so they don't steal water and resources from each other, so they fucking administrate everything as a community, and then they fucking starve and die out. That was their whole fucking point. They don't tell you that. They tell you this in the fucking Intel files and shit. This is why you didn't knew. Okay, and also Uh, what else? The CIA is in Dubai because they want to fucking eliminate the 33rd because they know what happened inside there. Okay, the game doesn't ever tell you what happened really, but there was like a rebellion, right, between two squads. You know,
Yeah.
the Americans that remained there that wanted to fucking kill everyone and shit, and the 33rd that was defending these guys. And this is the multiplayer. When you play multiplayer in that game, it's no longer active, I think. But when you play multiplayer, it is about that. It's about the war of the 33rd versus these American CIA guys and shit
Yeah.
that want to destroy all the evidence that anything happened there.
Yeah.
So they want to kill everyone, right? That is the job of the CIA.
Yeah,
The
and
fucking
which
CIA.
is what Walker did when he destroyed all the water. Like, you get a option to
Did you
destroy
do
the
it, by the
water.
way? Did you destroy the water, by the way? Because
Yeah,
that didn't.
I think I did.
One decision that I didn't like that you made that I was like, oh my god, you're so fucking dumb, dude. It's a fucking video game, I know, but I was like, oh my god, like your moral compass is not like is not like in line, I guess.
No, well,
You're role playing as fucking Walker, not as yourself, and that is the problem, right? But anyway,
yeah,
it was when they hanged this guy like Lugo, I think, right?
yeah,
They hanged that guy because that fucking guy was fucking killing people and shit. They
yeah,
fucking hate this guy, you know. They
but the
associated with the
reason why
CIA.
was the fact that, yeah, you were playing Walker, and that was a very good time for Walker to snap. I
Well,
think.
yeah, but you're playing as yourself, you know. Yeah, you're playing as a video game character instead of yourself. Instead, you are not being meta enough. You're not watching yourself as an outside force that is beyond all this stupid ass morality and shit. That is beyond the all this stupid ass war and shit. That you
Yeah,
can
I
see
mean,
how
I
fucked
do
up all
not
this is.
self-insert
Okay.
into games. That's true. I don't do that. So I was playing
Uh,
as Walker. For me, it's like, yeah, like Walker's story. Like, in this case, with how things gone, I think it would be a really very like good character moment for Walker to snap. So that's why I decided, let's just fucking start shooting, because
That is kind of true. I will agree with that. Yeah, it fits in that moment to kill, the locals, right, in that part of the game.
yeah,
But the ending that you chose was not in line with Walker either. The ending that fits Walker the most is suicide, pretty much, because it creates the loop that Conrad went on, right, like your hero, the 33rd captain and
it
shit.
depends on which one. Because it was more like of my version of Walker was the whole thing that he snapped, killed those innocents. Then as when the black guy then died, and he went in there and was like, what is going on? Why are all these people saluting me? And then he noticed that guy's dead, and he started realizing, like, oh god.
By the way, they salute you because they know that Conrad is dead already. He has been long fucking dead. You can see his face. He's all
yeah,
fucking
I
putrid
know,
and shit.
but those guys didn't exist. The guys who were saluting, they were just in his
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
So
The,
it was
his
all
yeah,
in Walker's mind, those people who were saluting. And then not shooting himself, okay, I'm gonna break this
well,
circle now. I'm breaking the wheel. I'm going
is
in.
it is supposedly because this is what the developer says, by the way. I read this. He says that after the helicopter scene, when they fucking shoot you down, he believes that Walker dies, and he is like in purgatory and shit. And you are and all the hallucinations, after that is because he is being punished for his actions and shit.
No, which I
Supposedly, right?
guess it would make sense in certain things, because there, when you use that white phosphorus and the images that shows up, it's very like hellish. So, yeah.
Like in you're in hell and shit, yeah.
So
But yeah, I think that the shooting yourself ending is the more fitting one, because and by the way, when you are pointing out at Conrad, right, the one that you are hallucinating and shit, you can see a reflection of yourself, right?
yeah,
If you point at the reflection of yourself, what happens is that Walker points the gun at his head, directly, and that is a really fucking nice detail that they added up at the end there, I think. And I think that is the best ending because it loops together super fucking well. Because it's the same fucking fate that Conrad suffered,
Which is
pretty
why I
much.
didn't do it. Because my walker, he had realized what was happened.
You just did the CIA job, though. You just went to the CIA at the end,
Exactly,
you know?
exactly. He was played
That
as a
is not the
fool.
answer, though.
What?
That is not the answer, though. That is not how you solve the fucking the morality of the game. The
No, no, the whole point of the game is to just play and build up a story. And the story of this
oh,
walker that I played was he was played as a fool of the he was a tool of the CIA,
okay.
and at the end he was like defeated. He didn't shoot himself and he gave
And he
himself
gave up
off.
and went to America.
Yeah, he gave himself up to the military, and what happened to him? He probably got killed. I mean, and then they wrote down, he was MIA because they
Okay,
wanted
missing
to
in action.
remove all. Um,
So it's like the cock ending, pretty much. The one where you get used, and that's it. But
well, I mean,
the,
that was the ending of that. Like, cuck. I don't know.
no, but you know what I mean, like cocked, like you got fucking used and disposed of. That's
Yes,
what I mean. Yeah.
which is the whole thing that America does to their troops. And
Uh
Walker was just a horrific victim and also a participant.
huh.
The fact that, in the beginning of the game, the whole thing is that you're supposed to just scout and see what happens, and then you're supposed to leave. But your character Walker decides, well, I know Conrad, I know he's a good guy, so why did he do this? And then he decides to move in. And then also your other two soldiers, you go and fuck, what's the other guy's name? I don't remember.
Lugo and Adams, right? The
Yeah,
black guy.
Lugo and Adams. The fact that they play into your delusions, they know that
Yeah, that you're fucking tripping balls and
you're
shit.
tripping balls and that the walkie-talkie doesn't have any batteries, but they play into your delusions because they are so like, okay, like you're the
They are super
leader,
loyal to.
whatever. And Adams
Yeah.
also had a really good line about something like, I trust you, Walker, I just do not agree with you, or something like that. He said a very good line in a part of the game, which at that point I was like, oh, that's a really good line. Like, what does it mean? And then that line has a whole different meaning when you then find out at the end of the game where they knew
Yeah.
that something was wrong, but they didn't say anything.
That's why I say that the fucking game is subversive in a really good fucking way. Especially after all the fucking generation of fucking Call of Duty and all that bullshit that I already told you.
I don't
Like
know. I would
every
say the Call of Duty story from time to time is okay. I mean, for what it is, I think it does a good job. I haven't played the newer Call of Duties. I mean, the last Call of Duty games I played was Black Ops.
yeah, but you know what I mean. This is like putting Call of Duty in reverse. Okay, you're not being fucking patriotic and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
not
you
being,
are doing.
it's trying to teach you that the fucking imperialist wars that America makes are fucked up,
Yes.
and they should fucking stop, for the sake of humanity and shit. But they won't, right? And there is also like a deep state, like the CIA and shit, uh, doing its fucking what I told you,
Yeah.
they want to
And the
cover up,
thing about
all
these
the
games also
fucked up
is that
shit.
I like that there is no, like, the whole concept of the true ending, I think is so stupid. Because why give different options and things to happen? Like, I think the true ending is whatever ending happens with the character that you played as. So, the
Well, yeah,
Walker in the universe that I played in, that was his ending. That was his true
I get it,
ending.
yeah, I get it, but at least to me, I guess, there are endings that fit the moral of the story better than others. That is definitely true, though. That there are,
Yeah, sure. Maybe the moral of the story that the developers wanted to tell, maybe.
yeah,
But the moral of
exactly,
the story that happened are different.
yeah, that is true.
So I think that's good.
And I think it's really good, that also that Walker disobeys his idol and shit and fights his army and shit. Conrad, that he was like this good Christian guy that saved his life and all that shit. And he starts to hate him, right, as the game progresses and whatnot. And then he finds out that he has been long dead before he arrived
Yeah.
and all that. It is a deep enough short game. I think for the length of the game is actually deep.
And then the
So yeah,
gameplay is pretty okay as well. I mean,
I like video game stories that are like that. By the way, when you can make like a cyclical a loop out of it, because I find that very fucking aesthetic. It's like Hegelian dialectics in a game. What I already told you, right? Where the ending is like the startup to the game, where you
you
when
want it to be
where
what's
you end up
called.
basically becoming like the antagonist. Because, for example, when Conrad kills himself or kills the U.S. Army that comes for him, when they tell him, "Oh, he's shell shock,"
Yeah.
and all that in the ending, and you kill them and you take over Dubai, right? You become like a warlord of Dubai. You replace what Conrad was doing. That's why he's wearing his jacket and shit. That is so fucking symbolic. I fucking love that shit. At the end, he's wearing his fucking jacket and his military fucking outfit and shit. Uh,
Yeah,
you
but
become like him.
that would probably only work if you didn't do what the CIA wanted and destroy the water supply. Because the
Yeah,
whole thing
did you
was,
destroy the water supply though? Because that doesn't show in your recordings. Because a part is missing. Remember that.
yeah, I did.
Why, dude? Why did you destroy them? Because you were playing into the crazy Walker that believes that those people are evil and shit.
Yeah, and the whole thing
Okay.
of like, oh,
I
like
will never fucking destroy the water supply of any fucking human being in my life,
the
dude.
Americans are there. We're going to, because you start off with stealing the water,
Uh-huh.
and then I don't really remember, and then you crash. I think if you fail the mission, that is the same as destroying the water, I think happened.
Oh, okay. I
Because
see.
I think I remember failing that mission, but the game still continued on. And then
Mm-hmm.
you get the option to kill the CIA agent or not. I
Mm-hmm.
did end up killing him because it was like a mercy kill. Like you're like, you're gonna burn to death, so I'm gonna shoot you. And then you're like, okay, the water supply is not destroyed. This whole city has only like 3 or 4 days to live until everyone dies. Let's go out in a blaze of glory. And then when Walker gets, to Conrad's place, like, oh god, everything I did was wrong. Like, I killed these people. I killed Lugo. If only I didn't proceed forward. If only I would have done what my original mission was, which was just go into Dubai, look around, and then walk back. That was the original mission, but he decided to try and figure out, well, why is Walker doing this? Not why is
Mm-hmm.
Conrad doing this? And that
I
is,
already, I already told you that, but it will have been really fucking good as an Easter egg and shit, at least. That for a person that knows that they can at the start of the game, if they did a fucking 180, right, and they returned home, and that's it, and that is one of the endings. A fucking
yeah,
secret ending is
I
just like
agree with you. That
backing
would have
off.
been so good if you could have that option,
Yeah,
like without the game telling you.
yeah, exactly.
And when you were like, you know what, fuck this. We have done our mission. We've come here. Just look. Let's go back and report what we saw. That would have
Hmm.
been really cool. And then you get a mission where, who knows, Walker's back home drinking coffee, whatever, just a normal life.
Taking a shit and whatnot, yeah, living life.
Yeah, that would have been really good. I think, yeah, that would have been really, really good to show kind of like if he just would have not
Uh,
engaged.
he will have gone home with his conscience,
Yeah.
clean and shit. His fucking consciousness clean. Yeah, I agree, dude. Um, anyway, are you ready to move to the Russia topic?
Yeah.
Just to finish this one out, politics
Yes.
for till the end. Okay,
Yeah.
so basically, my take is very fucking simple, dude. I don't think that there's going to be a war between Ukraine and Russia and the US and NATO and all that shit.
Yeah. I
Simple
mean,
as that. I don't think that there's going to be a war. There's no way there's going to be a war.
yeah, and I
They
mean, I
have
don't
they
like.
have nukes. Putin already fucking threatened that, because the French president was fucking bothering him so much, Putin and shit, and he was telling him that that war might happen and shit. And Putin was like, okay, if war happens, I'm going to fucking use nukes. He says that we are probably going to end up fucked up, you and I. We know that Russia cannot win a land war, a war, against NATO. But he also knows that, but he mentions how Russia is the strongest fucking nuclear superpower in the world. So if they fucking pull him, if they push him to it, he will fucking do it. He's saying, just to threaten. He's doing Cold War politics pretty much.
Yeah, I mean,
Just so everyone fucking settles down and shuts the fuck up.
yeah, the whole point of nukes is to dissuade wars between the big powers.
Yeah.
So
Which is
as
ironic,
long
right?
as long as those things exist, they are not gonna fight each other openly.
I like
Obviously,
that, honestly.
proxy wars gonna happen. They happen all the time. I mean, for example, what happened in Ukraine is a proxy war.
It is a proxy war, yeah. It is a Russian separatist versus the neo-Nazis, a sub-battalion guys and shit. Because right now Ukraine, all the militias in Ukraine are very fucking Nazi adjacent and shit. It's very fucking suspicious, dude. And America doesn't give a fuck, by the way. As long as they do their bidding and shit, in a way, they are going to fund them. They don't care about their ideology and shit. Because I mean, they have already funded ISIS, right?
Yeah.
Before and all that. So they obviously don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They are obviously just doing it for their capitalist interests, pretty much, to expand their empire in a way, right? To get their fucking businesses in there. But yeah, I don't believe that there's going to be a war. And also, the war, in my opinion, this is a more nuanced take, right? It must be more about Germany. Because right now, I don't know if you know, with Gazprom and all that shit, the gas pipelines that Russia has a monopoly on, right?
Yeah.
Because they have a monopoly on energy. One of them is called the Nord Stream, right? Nord Stream 1 that goes to Germany.
Yeah.
And Germany, let me check, this fucking chart that I posted here. Germany relies on Russia, on Russian gas. It is like fucking 37% right now.
Yeah.
And Russia wants to build a Nord Stream number 2, right? To make them even more reliant on their gas, to get them to buy more of their gas. It's going to be like roughly like fucking six.
Increase the supply so that if Germany wants, they can, get more.
Buy more gas from Russia. Yes.
Yeah.
It's going to be like 60% reliance on Russian gas now from Germany and shit. So Russia is going to get fucking richer, through the pipelines, pretty much.
Potentially. I mean, it all depends on whatever trade wars and whatever. I mean,
I believe that this war is about stopping that, for the USA.
Yes.
USA is looking into that. They are looking to stop the gas pipeline.
Yes.
How do you call this? The project, the fucking projects. That
I mean, it's the same thing that happened. It's the reason why Syria and Iran have been propping up, because Saudi Arabia wants to build a pipeline to Europe, but their pipeline goes through Syria, Iran, and those countries don't want that pipeline because
they are competitors. Yeah.
No, not only that, because Russia also have that pipeline. So it is, between Russia, America, Saudi Arabia about who will supply Europe with this gas.
Yeah.
So that's all it is.
I believe it's all it is as well. Well, in a big part, right? And also because fucking NATO has been expanding a lot, and supposedly when the Soviet Union was a thing, they agreed not to expand NATO more than fucking Poland and shit, supposedly, and they did anyway. So Russia's trying to stop that, in time before it becomes too late. That being said, I believe that nowhere is going to happen, thankfully. It's going to be a Cold War again and proxy wars. I believe that the meta now, just to call it the meta, is so fucking pretentious, but the way to do war now between big nations, because they cannot fucking go at war directly because that risks them to go into a nuclear war, right? What they do is
and
that
it
they
also is bad politics within the countries.
Yeah, because of the economy and all that, it can
Yeah.
crash both of the fucking countries' economies.
So the whole point is
They
to do
rely on each
proxy
other.
wars and to drain resources from the others.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the whole point of proxy wars is just to drain the other people's resources.
Metal Gear Solid was right in this because Kojima predicts this. By the way, he says that seriously, he says that in the future it's like PMC versus PMC. You know, private military company versus private military company and shit.
Yeah.
I don't believe that these militias are private military companies, right? But you get what I mean. You get what I mean.
No, no,
It's
no.
like it's a
Well,
fucking
America
militia.
has like semi. Like they have a lot
I
of
know. Yeah,
private contractors within the military,
that is true.
and
Yeah.
they also plan on decrease. Like for example, what they've done, with Biden in Afghanistan. Not Afghanistan. I think it was. Fuck, it wasn't Afghanistan. It was another country. Fuck, I don't remember. But they have, they've removed U.S. military, but they have increased private contractors. So what they now can say in their politics is, we have reduced American soldiers because these military
Exactly.
contractors are not counted as soldiers.
Yeah. Yeah. Precisely. That is very fucking clever. You know, in a way, in a really corrupt fucking way. Yeah.
Yeah.
You already told me about this, I think, but yeah, I get it. I agree with you fully.
And then
Um,
and the thing is, that's funny also, a lot of soldiers are becoming, military contractors. Due to the fact that a military contractor earns like 5 or 6 times more than a soldier. So it's kind of like, if you don't give a fuck about, killing people or whatever, and also, I mean, people who go into the military, especially I would say a voluntary military, or a voluntary army, that is, are people who are like, yeah, you know what? I want to shoot someone. I want to shoot the bad guy. Like,
yeah.
like, oh god. Yeah, no, I mean, it's
But yeah,
all
like
about
it's
power.
it's fuck. Yeah, it's fucking curious how fucking America every fucking time they always have money for war and shit, but they have never fucking money for healthcare. They never have fucking money for fucking for schooling and shit, for housing, for getting fucking the homeless
Yeah,
big
and
ass
that's
population that
because
they
they're
have
spending it all on
into.
war. I mean,
Yeah,
fuck
yeah,
me, they're
exactly.
spending almost $1 trillion every year.
And it's the fucking Democrats as well, dude. Like the Democrats is not going to save the fucking American people. It's clear as fucking day, dude. And this is one thing that I admire from Trump, by the way.
Uh,
He pointed out that the deep state, okay, and that is
yeah,
true.
but
The deep
then he
state
played
exists.
right
He
into it. I mean,
he. I know. I was going to elaborate on that. Yes, I
yeah,
know that he was a fucking moron as well, but Biden is not much better either. So
I
that
mean,
is
I
my
would say
point, my
Biden
overall
is
point.
probably worse.
Arguably, it's more hawkish, I guess.
Yeah, so I mean, I would say Biden is worse than Trump, but yeah, I
So
mean,
like I wouldn't know how to tell all the American populace to vote, right, all the American citizenship to vote, because if they want peace in the world, they're going to fucking put up two fucking status quo fucking deep state candidates every fucking time.
yeah,
So what I would say is like unironically, as an accelerationist, pick the most retarded one, in the sense that who is going to be less effective
yeah,
at war,
or start voting third parties.
third party or start. Yes,
Even
absolutely.
if,
Yeah,
like, because fuck, I hate when Americans say that. If you vote third
they never
party, you're
win,
throwing
dude.
away your vote.
Yeah, dude, it's so
What?
retarded,
So
dude.
you're voting for
So
something you
fucking
don't
stupid.
agree with because you don't want to throw away your vote? Think about this.
Yeah,
If
yeah, yeah.
three guys get 4% each,
Fucking bunch of bitch
that's
asses.
12% now that isn't going to them. And then it's gonna increase. I do not understand why they think that they need to have like a two-party system. Like,
It's a fucking oligarchy, dude.
yeah,
It is the deep state. The deep state is that mentality. That is what enables the fucking deep state.
yeah. Because the
The
thing is
fucking
that,
mentality that we gotta go Republican or Democrat, and that's the only fucking other two options. Do you know who tried to do a third party and was getting there very fucking successfully? Theodore Roosevelt. That president did the Moose Party, right? The Progressive Party, actually, it was called, and it did really fucking well. But the fucking parade got fucking abandoned
yeah.
and shit. and it will have been a really good a really good party. But
I mean, if it
it died.
didn't get subverted, I mean, if you take like the
Yeah,
progressives, American progressives, I mean, they are just, I don't know, like I think,
they are liberal. They are too liberal now. Yes.
yeah, I think I agree with Jimmy Dore in the fact that the progressives were just a way for the Democrats to funnel votes into the Democratic Party.
Especially young voters. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just a way to trick people into thinking, oh, it's something different, but they're doing everything
Exactly.
the corporate Democrats want. So
Even
yeah,
fucking quote unquote political progressive commentators on the internet are like this. By the way,
yeah, I know.
recently they have become like super mask off about their true intentions, and it turns out that they fucking hate Russia, China, and shit, and they want fucking war with them. They're fucking hawkish and shit, and they are like these fucking neolib, neocon, fucking
I
bullshitters
mean,
and shit.
wasn't it you that sent me something about
A
that
debate,
that
something.
a lot of like YouTube progressives were like paid by the CIA or
Ah,
something?
yes,
Was it
yes,
you
a
that
lot.
sent it to me?
I think so, yeah. For example, like there is this guy, philosophy too and shit, a guy that became transgender and shit. He was funded by the royal family of Britain and shit. He's
Yeah, so
British.
it's kind of like, I mean, no, I
So
don't
yeah,
know any of
like
these people,
and,
but
and also like there's another guy, SDL they call him, socialism don't left. I know that you don't know any of those people, but it's fine. This guy, it turns out that his grandfather was in the CIA and he was in the Cuban Missile Crisis.
yeah,
And,
so
I, and I don't know, like the connection is way too fucking direct there. Like why they are propping up these people, out of fucking nowhere and shit. Some of them are fucking associates, right? And they fucking contract them through fucking intermediaries, right? Like fucking middle parties,
yeah,
middle businesses that tell them, hey, I will pay you, who knows, like 10,000 bucks and shit if you make a video about this topic.
yeah,
And yeah, and they make it and shit, and they don't know who they are working for, right? But when it is direct like that, when your grandfather was in the CIA and shit, I don't know, dude. Like I don't know what to tell you, dude. Not all of them are like this, mind you. Some of them genuinely do believe in quote unquote progressive ideals, right? They are stupid and they play into the liberal Democratic Party uh,
yeah,
BS, right? They play into the fucking into the grasp of the establishment,
yeah,
and
but
they are and they do so unawarely. Anyway,
yeah,
say what we're going to
and I
say.
mean that makes complete sense if you're thinking of, okay, you are a CIA guy or you are a establishment, the deep state. It's in
Yeah,
your best interest to subvert the grassroots, to actually
yeah.
make some grassroots things that you have control over.
They did this long ago, by the way,
Yeah,
long fucking
they
ago.
have done it. I would say probably since the beginning. I mean, it wouldn't make sense that they wouldn't do this since.
The battle was lost before it even started. In that
Yeah,
sense, right? It doesn't mean
because
that
like I
another party
believe that
cannot
they
rise
were
up.
the ones who even started that battle. You know?
Yeah, yeah. It does not mean that another party cannot rise up. It can definitely can, but another like a third party, that it can become like a challenger for all of this. But for example, it ain't. We already know that it ain't the Communist Party of the USA. CPUSA,
Yeah,
the Communist Party USA, is already subverted the fuck out. Yeah, I looked into it and shit, and I watched the interviews of them and shit, and they are pretty much fucking liberals, progressives now. Like the people that Jimmy Dore criticizes and shit. So there's actually
yeah,
no fucking side right now.
and
Something else
also
has to come up.
you have to think about more than just a single third party. I think
Yeah, no,
putting
yeah, I
all your
agree
basket
absolutely.
into one is the wrong thing. You have
especially
to.
not a especially not a communist party because that shit there's still a lot of red scare in America, honestly, that has been fucking propagandized for fucking generations and shit. And Republicans, for example, a redneck, a rural person, even though he's working class, he won't vote for that because he gets scared by the fucking scythe and the sickle and shit, the hammer and the sickle. So you have to try something else, I don't know, the People's Party or something else.
Yeah,
There
I
are
mean,
other
I wouldn't
alternatives
want
to it.
communism either, but I am a
That
more of a
is that is way
social,
too
like
broad.
like
Yeah.
a socialist or a social capitalist. Like,
Uh-huh.
like I'm a lot like, I don't know, Swedish leftist, kind of like
No, yeah,
that.
yeah, I agree. I get you. You are better than the Americans, so you are definitely not. You are like a progressive, but in the more in the European sense. That's
Yeah,
that's the vibe that I get from you. But I'm more authoritarian, definitely.
yeah,
but what I was going to say, but at least that makes you much better than the fucking Americans. Okay, because the thing that Americans call progressive is so fucking stupid. It's so stupid, so idealistic. It has nothing to do with any kind of
real
socialism,
life.
or yeah, with real life, with objective material reality. It doesn't has to do anything with actually changing. With giving more to the people that lack the means of production or anything like that, right? I'm not exactly like a commie, but I fucking learn a lot from the fucking commie tradition. I'm not sure where I am, honestly. I'm still looking into it, but it's probably socialist adjacent something.
Yeah,
I will definitely say so. But
it's, it's also
I'm still
probably
making my
pretty hard to
ideology.
actually put yourself into a camp, because
Hmm.
everyone will have like, you know what, like I consider myself blah blah blah, but that
Because
thing over there I
because,
actually prefer it more than what, so I think if people could just be more fluid in things instead of say, okay,
more
I am a,
pragmatic, right? Yeah, more pragmatic. What they call
yeah,
pragmatism.
like,
Yeah, I agree.
if you call yourself a socialist, that's fine, but you don't have to,
Hmm.
you can do all the good things with being a socialist, but you don't have to do the bad things as well. You can choose to only do the good things, and then maybe do some of the good things from a capitalist as well,
For
instead.
example, I have a hot take related to that, mind you. Uh, I do want a more central planning in the economy where I think it's necessary, right? Where there's a lot of monopolies and whatnot. But a
Yeah,
sector of the economy that I just cannot give a fuck about, that it can be fully private if it wants and shit, or at least like I guess 5% fucking state owned, okay, and 95% private. That can be the retail sector of the economy. Retail means like fucking malls, fashion, selling some electronics and whatnot,
yeah,
like computers, like personal shit, like luxuries, right? I don't give a fuck if that shit is private.
yeah, I agree, that
If
should
those
be
fucking commodities are
private,
private,
that should be
that should be
100%
private. Yeah.
private.
Here in China, it is private, mind you. In China, it's even private with AliExpress and shit. But it doesn't matter to me, right? The point to me is like the rich. I don't care if even if billionaires exist, mind you, they just have to be taxed more, and they have to not betray the country that hosts them, right? Because they are like trade kingpins of the state, pretty
Yeah,
much. So they cannot be leaving and fucking changing sides and shit, turning capes and whatnot. You have not to let them go. This is kind of what China does, and I do admire some of the things of the system of China. I think that other things are irrational, though. Obviously,
yeah,
like I told you, with K-pop, the K-pop ban is irrational in my opinion. I hope that they turn that one down because it won't work.
yeah,
Um,
it will just make it more exotic, and people are gonna,
exactly what we already talked about that, yeah. But I'm glad that the Chinese are making their own block. Pretty much, I'm glad that they are rising up as a power, as a block of power, and this challenges America in a way, their imperialism and whatnot. And this is like they're becoming like the USSR too, pretty much in that way. I would also like Japan to rise again, not as a fucking imperialist, fucking fascist Nazi adjacent power, but as its own thing. Okay, as its
yeah,
own block. I would like them to have more influence and not to be a cog to America one day. I would like Russia to rise up as well because they have a case, in the Slavic lands as well. They can unite the Slavic places.
oh god, probably not, I mean,
That will be way too hard, yeah.
yeah,
But
because
there
there's
there is
way
like
too
a
much bad blood between the,
no, but I'm going to tell you something interesting. There is places in Russia in the Slavic lands, right? Outside of Russia, sorry,
yeah,
for example, like Transnistria, that have like Soviet nostalgia, that they want to go to Russia because they have like a hope that the Soviet Union will come again or something like that. I'm not sure, but for example, the Soviets, the fucking Soviets, the fucking Russian separatists in Ukraine, they are like that. They are often Marxist Leninists, right? Right? They read the Leninist tradition of Marxism, and the people in
Yeah, and they have
Transnistria.
a rose-colored lenses of what the USSR was. I know.
I'm not saying that the USSR was perfect, but if they want it back for some reason, it must be because this fucking country, Ukraine, is not offering, it's not up to their standards. That's what I would say. They will prefer, to run to join Russia, which is richer because it has like these fucking oligarchic monopolies that I don't know pay well and shit. Gazprom and shit. Because yes,
As
I
long as you
recognize.
live near Moscow. if,
Yeah, yeah,
as long as you live
absolutely.
near Moscow.
Russia is very Moscow centric. That's for sure. The truth, and also, but they are rich as well. When it comes to the Slavics, they are the richest ones, no doubt about it. Did you know about Transnistria, by the way? It's like in Moldova, there's like this fucking Soviet country.
Nope.
Well, they claim to be like successors of the Soviets, and in the border between Ukraine and Moldova, or whatever the fuck it's called. I don't know if it's Moldova either, Latvia or something like that. I don't know. Uh, but in that border, there is a country called Transnistria, and it's pretty much like if they were in the USSR. You can go there and everything looks like it's the USSR and shit. They still fucking fly the fucking the red flag and shit with the hammer and sight and shit. And obviously they're pretty pro-Russian as well. So I detect that. I see that shit. I see that a lot of some Slavic people, not all of them, as you say, there is still a lot of bad blood between the Russians and uh, and the other Slavic peoples. Probably yes, the ones that are more afar from them must hate them more. But for example, I know that Belarusia, Belarus, likes Russia a lot, and I know that there is Moldova, there is that place Transnistria, sorry, Transnistria likes them. Crimea likes them now because they consist of Russian separatists and
Yeah,
also
it's
that
an unrecognized state, but
yeah, I know it is, but it's probably Russia is going to keep it. Let's be real, dude. Because
yeah, I mean, obviously,
no
that's
fucking
how
war is going to happen.
they
Which, by
are.
the way, the Ukrainian Nazis, the Azov battalion, cut off the water supply of Crimea, for military purposes, obviously. But Russia is supplying them with water and shit right now. But yeah, like I think that the borders of Ukraine, I think that Ukraine will keep existing, but the borders of Ukraine will change a little bit
Yeah.
because of these advances that Russia already made and is not willing to concede,
Yeah, and also, I mean, Ukraine was created,
as a buffer, right? Like as a
yeah, as a
border.
buffer. I mean, the people
It it,
of
it
inside, it's kind of like how the Middle East was. Like, yeah,
that
sure, you call it Afghanistan, but the people inside Afghanistan are like not really like it was borders created by the French and the
uh-huh.
British. It isn't borders that were created naturally by the people inside it. Because
Yep.
if the Ukrainians themselves would have created these countries, Ukraine probably would have been split into 4 or 5 different smaller countries. It would have been more like Balkanized, for example. It's like
Mm-hmm.
the oh god, what was it called in English? Yugoslavia? What was it called? Czechoslovakia?
Czechoslovakia.
Czechoslovakia, there we go, in English.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that is kind of like how Ukraine is. Um,
Yeah, yeah, I
and
can
if
see
it
that.
if it wasn't, if they had a choice to balkanize back in the day, then it would have been split into 4 or 5 different countries, with probably
Makes
the
sense. Yeah.
West being more pro,
Pro NATO and
and then
Europe
the
and
eastern
EU and all that.
parts.
More Russian. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that is the actual solution for the people of Ukraine. If you really cared about the well-being of the people of Ukraine, you would be for balkanization of it, like split
Mm-hmm.
it up. But people don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They
Obviously
want
not. Yeah.
everything or nothing, you know.
Always. Yeah. Uh, but what I was going to tell you, like overall, though, I think that NATO, if the war is about keeping Germany away from Nord Stream 2, likely NATO already won that war then, because they are going to end up convincing Germany to stay out of that deal. I think it's very likely. I don't know. I'm not sure though. Yeah, maybe the Russians surprise me. Who knows? Uh, but yeah, like that's what's been happening right now.
Yeah, and especially if Germany can get like power from some other place.
It is the fault of Germany, mind you, because the fucking idiots dropped their nuclear. They had nuclear reactors and shit, and they shut them
Yes,
down.
they
I
dropped
think
it. And
they
that
dropped it
caused them
for
to lose so much power to where they
so
have a
much fucking
power
power.
crisis. And what
Exactly,
they
and now they have to fucking buy gas from Russia and shit. But
not
it's their
only
fucking fault, you know.
not only that, they are doing what they're called, what's it called, green energy, which is horrific. What they
It's
do
really
is
fucking way
that
compared to nuclear. Yeah, to be honest.
that is way it so causes so much like it's kind of like on the level of coal what they are doing in Germany. They're taking these pellets, these green pellets,
Uh,
which is tree or whatever, and then they're like burning it and doing all that. But it's not coal; it's like biomass fuel, something called like that. And since Germany cannot cut down all their forests because they're protected and it wouldn't look good, what they are doing is that they are shipping from America, like these pellets, these tree pellets, to Germany to then create fuel. So it's kind of like,
that's so fucking stupid. Yeah, I get it, right? I get it what they do it, but they shouldn't have shut down their nuclears.
yeah, which was super
Nuclear
green.
reactors.
I mean, nuclear power is like the most environmentally friendly.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. I believe that only like big cities and shit need nuclear.
Yes, I agree.
Essentially, you can get away with towns and shit with green energy and shit, but you cannot run your fucking your whole cities right
Yeah, you're
on
like
fucking green energy.
metropolitan city.
Yeah, you're
Just
metropolitan like Berlin and shit, right?
yeah,
You cannot run that shit on green energy. Let's be fucking real,
yes. So
There
do
is a
this
reason why
smart.
fucking Tokyo has, nuclear reactors and shit, and Fukushima and whatnot, and and like fucking Osaka and whatnot, all those fucking places. But I will make like a concession, right? Like use both. Like why not use
Exactly.
both? But
I agree.
just don't.
Use a bunch of different things. I mean, for example, in Sweden we have nuclear power. The most common here in Sweden is water power.
Hmm.
Because I mean, Sweden has a lot of dams and all that stuff, like natural whatever, and then also a bunch of unnatural where they deliberately swamp certain areas to create power.
Yeah.
And then wind power, and then I think solar is the next, and then natural gas is the next biggest. But Sweden, for what I know, Sweden do not get anything from Russia when it comes to natural gas. I think in Sweden, almost all are natural because Sweden is really good when it comes to power here in Sweden. Even though the price of electricity has skyrocketed, but thankfully, my household, we have not noticed the price increase because my mom was smart enough to have, like, she pays a little bit extra during the summer months to make it so that we get a consistent energy price. So that, like, even if the energy price goes up, it will not affect us. That is in our contract.
Yeah.
And I think this year, energy price, like in the other areas around us, increased by like 100% during winter. But for us, no difference. So, yeah. Oh yeah, also, Sweden uses a lot of garbage for heating to the point where we now have to import garbage from Norway to like heat our homes. So that's kind of like showing like Germany, there is a lot of options for you guys, like to heat your
The best one
home.
is to return to nuclear, honestly, for the metropolitan areas at least. They have to stop being so fucking prideful and suck it up and say that that shit worked and return to that instead of fucking relying on buying coal for fucking from fucking America, right? It's so stupid, dude. Or the wood, whatever the fuck it was, right? To
Yeah,
heat up the
you
that fucking
know,
shit.
and they're like, oh, it's more green. What the fuck are you talking about? How much carbon dioxide, not only burning these things, but shipping them from America all the way to
Yeah.
Germany? Like,
They are
it's
contributing more
insane.
to it. That is so fucking true. They are contributing more to the destruction of the environment because they are
Yeah,
basically motivating those fucking chips, the cargo chips with all that bullshit to come on in, fucking letting out all the fucking smog, from the fucking pipes from the chips and shit.
yeah, like,
So overall, it's worse. It's worse for everyone what they're doing, just because they're so fucking stupid and prideful. And it is because it is the fucking liberal, fucking dogmatic, fucking stupid ass attitude of, oh, I'm so morally right. They want to win moral battles.
yeah.
You
But
know.
I mean, in Germany's case, it's actually the right wing parties. You know,
Oh, that's interesting.
yeah, Merkel, she's the right wing party.
Huh?
You know, the Christian Democrats is what Angela Merkel is part of.
Hmm.
And they have a coalition government with the right wingers. So, I mean, yeah, sure, Germany, like a lot of people, Germany is like a left wing place. No.
Yeah.
I mean, the left wingers in Germany have not been in power for like 30 years, whatever. It
Hmm.
has been the right wing. In relation to the country, of course. I mean, Germany's right wing would be like left wing in America. But,
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, I get you. I get you totally.
yeah. But yeah, Germany it's a very interesting country because if you look at their left wingers, their environmentalists, the
Hmm.
Green Party of Germany are such fascists. They're openly fascistic. Um,
Really, they are like eco-fascists, like
yes, yes, they're
unironically.
eco-fascists. They want to declare war on third world countries that do not do clean energy. They want to declare war
But
on
but
Russia.
but they do it like under the motivation of white supremacy, or they are
No, no,
not
no.
like
They do it under the motivation of
we are better
environmentalism.
than you, right? Of we are more
Environmentalism.
okay. So they are like Malthusian, right? They are fucking anti-human, and that's it. Like humans contaminate a lot, so let's fucking kill them and shit,
Yeah.
or fucking or submit them
And
to not
force
use
them to use alternative energy. They want to, like
That
invade.
is so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I think they have I think they have some seats in the government, not a lot. But then
Yeah.
Germany also have, a pirate party member in
Uh-huh.
the EU.
True.
So Germany is like the land of like extremes. Like Germany is like
They are trying new things, in politics.
this,
They are fucking they are very experimental, I guess.
yeah. Like there must be something in the water because,
In your beer, yeah, fucking
yeah,
alcohol.
because Germans are a special kind of people. Like,
They used to have a really fucking hard workaholic culture like the Japanese did,
oh, they
But
still do. They still do.
okay, because for example, all the Europeans look upon the Germans as very fucking weird. Okay, usually they are like the weirdest kind of
They're
Europeans.
extremely strict. They work a fuck
Yeah,
ton, and they drink themselves to death and beat each other up when they're drunk.
yeah,
That
that
is
is
the
like
German.
Japan pretty much. Japan is like that as well, except with a beating up. Well, sometimes, but they also get drunk and after work and shit.
No.
So yeah, that is all the topics, Andreas. Well, there is one more topic left.
Yeah,
Uh,
let's
fucked,
do it quick.
fucked up sleep schedules. How are you going to fix that?
I do not think I can fix it due to the fact that it's related to my chronic fatigue syndrome.
Hmm.
So it's a symptom of that. Um, so and we are trying to fix it now. Obviously as I'm taking
Yeah.
the adrenaline. That's the whole point of it, to try and fix. Because the theory is the fact that my body doesn't produce enough adrenaline. And
What hour is there, by the way, right now?
at the moment it's 06:48. Which
40. Okay.
like almost 7 in the morning.
And you've been up for how much time?
I like 2.5 hours.
Ah, okay. Yeah, it's not that much.
Because
How much do you have recorded right now?
we recorded for 2 hours.
Okay,
So
perfect. That's fucking solid. Okay, so let's cut it here, dude. Yeah, I'm not going to make you waste more time.
no, but
Sorry for that.
no, that's fine. Like, how is your sleep schedule? Because I mean, you have
I have already fixed it.
you have fixed
Just
it,
because of
yeah.
you. Thank you, by the way.
Because I think
Uh,
that is
I
probably
was
more interesting, like your sleep schedule. Because my sleep schedule is just that, my disease. They're like, okay,
I
like.
I had it super fucked up. It was backwards. Okay, I was living at night, and I fucking hate that shit. I was living in the fucking AM sleep cycle and shit. Uh, and and it costed me a lot of fucking time to program myself to do the podcast with you because of my fucking fucked up sleep schedule. But because it finally happened, right?
Yeah.
I was sleeping. The previous day I slept at like 7 p.m. or 8 and shit, like around those hours, and I was waking up at like 6 a.m. or fucking 4 a.m. 5 a.m. around those hours, which is like kind of too early. But now because of this, it's already like 10:49 p.m. 10:49 p.m. So it's already night. Thanks to you, I already have a good sleep schedule. Pretty much, I'm going to sleep at normal hours and wake up in the morning like at 10 a.m. something like that. Because because of the interest of the podcast, you patched me up to like 4 hours actually. I'm normal again. Thank you, dude. Like thanks a lot, man.
Well, that's good.
Like truly, because this bullshit lasted like 2 fucking weeks. By the way, I couldn't fucking
Yeah.
have a normal
We
fucking life in 2 weeks, dude.
Yeah, we have tried to do the podcast because we want to try and do a podcast like at least once a month. I think is good.
Yeah, and we missed it 1 month actually.
Yeah.
The previous one, which I guess that I owe you one. I'm not sure, but
No. I
we'll
mean,
see.
it's
We'll see.
I don't know. Like this podcast is just something fun we do, right?
Yeah,
So
and whenever we can, when we can pop it out, pretty
yeah.
much.
Uh, but yeah, I think that's it. If anyone is watching right now, thank you for sticking with us.
Also, if you want to come into the podcast one day yourself instead of me, you can hit up Andreas in the Discord and tell him
Yeah.
that you want to
Or on
podcast with
YouTube,
him and shit.
and
Yeah, or YouTube in a commentary.
or if you just want to do a podcast with like 3 of us or more, I
Yeah.
mean, I think that would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always open to anyone. And yeah, so thank you for watching and goodbye.
Bye bye.